Have you ever wondered who truly holds the reins of global power in 2025? Is it a matter of economic influence, diplomatic reach, or military might? While all three matter, it's the hard power, the ability to project force and deter threats, that continues to draw the boundaries of influence in this new geopolitical era. And right now, the world is watching the silent but strategic standoff between the United States and China, a contest that goes far beyond borders. It's a battle for dominance over trade routes, technology, resources, and even ideology. So before we dive in, drop your thoughts in the comments. Who do you believe would come out on top in a direct military conflict, the US or China? In 2025, the United States continues to lead the world in terms of advanced military capabilities. With thousands of aircraft, including the F-35 and B-2 stealth bombers, an unrivaled fleet of nuclear-powered aircraft carriers, and satellite systems that give it global surveillance and precision strike capabilities, the US still holds the title of the most powerful conventional force on the planet. Its military budget remains the highest in the world, surpassing $850 billion under the current administration of President Donald Trump, who has doubled down on defense investments and revitalized weapons modernization programs aimed directly at countering Chinese expansionism. However, China is no longer a distant second. Over the past decade, Beijing has executed the most ambitious military buildup in modern history. Its naval fleet is now the largest in the world by number of vessels, and it has rapidly advanced in areas where it once lagged: hypersonic missiles, anti-satellite weapons, cyber warfare, and artificial intelligence-driven combat systems. The Chinese military strategy revolves around creating anti-access and area denial zones, especially in the South China Sea and the Taiwan Strait, regions where Beijing seeks to push American forces out and assert uncontested regional control. The goal is not necessarily to match the US globally, but to dominate its own sphere of influence and deter any foreign intervention. What makes this rivalry more complex in 2025 is the overlap between military power and technological dominance. China has narrowed the gap in quantum computing, space capabilities, and drone warfare. It already has operational hypersonic missiles capable of evading traditional missile defenses, and its DF-21 and DF-26 systems are specifically designed to threaten US aircraft carriers. Meanwhile, American superiority still holds in stealth technology, electronic warfare, and command and control networks, which are essential for coordinated large-scale operations. The real question is whether the US advantage is shrinking faster than it can adapt. In terms of nuclear capability, both nations have entered a new and dangerous phase. While the United States maintains a much larger nuclear arsenal, China has significantly expanded its stockpile in recent years, including the development of mobile intercontinental ballistic missiles and underground silos. For decades, Beijing operated under a minimal deterrence strategy, but that posture is shifting rapidly. Intelligence reports in 2025 suggest China is moving toward a launch-on-warning doctrine, increasing the risk of accidental or preemptive strikes in the event of rising tensions. The US, on the other hand, continues to modernize its triad of nuclear weapons, submarines, bombers, and land-based missiles, to ensure credible deterrence against not only China but also Russia. Another front in this conflict is the global projection of power. The United States still has an unmatched network of overseas bases, allowing it to deploy and sustain military operations across the globe. China, in contrast, has started building strategic footholds under the radar, such as its base in Djibouti, infrastructure deals with countries across Africa and South America, and possible access points in the Arctic and Indian Ocean. Beijing's Belt and Road Initiative, while primarily economic, includes dual-use facilities that could be militarized if necessary. What we're witnessing is a shift from a purely US-dominated order to a contested one, where Beijing is slowly weaving itself into the fabric of global security architecture. This strategic rivalry is not confined to tanks and warships. The cyber domain has become a battlefield of its own. Chinese cyber units have launched numerous espionage campaigns targeting Western governments, corporations, and defense contractors. The US, through agencies like Cyber Command and the NSA, responds with offensive and defensive capabilities that most adversaries cannot match. But in this arena, attribution is difficult and escalation can happen without a single shot being fired. The cyber balance between these two powers remains tense and dangerously opaque. What makes the year 2025 especially volatile is the shifting alliances and uncertain leadership around the globe. Under the current administration of Donald Trump, the United States is focused on bilateral defense deals, increased pressure on NATO allies to raise military spending, and emphasized a doctrine of peace through strength. But this also means the US has pulled away from some traditional multilateral institutions, giving China more space to build influence through international forums and economic leverage. Beijing has stepped in as a funder of alternative global development projects, offering countries an alternative to the Western-led world order, often backed by military promises behind the scenes. So, who is truly winning this race for global military dominance in 2025? On paper, the United States still leads. Its technological edge, nuclear deterrence, and global presence remain unmatched. But China is playing a long game. Its goal is not to surpass the US everywhere, but to render American military power irrelevant in key regions, especially the Indo-Pacific, through denial strategies and strategic ambiguity. The true danger lies not in a full-scale war, which both sides seek to avoid, but in a miscalculation over Taiwan, the South China Sea, or a sudden cyberattack that spirals out of control. What's unfolding before our eyes is not just a military competition. It's a race to define the rules of the future. Will it be a world shaped by American principles of open navigation and democratic alliances? Or one structured around Chinese strategic control, technological authoritarianism, and economic dependency? The balance of power is tilting, slowly but unmistakably. And the consequences of this new era will be felt far beyond Beijing and Washington. They will reach every corner of the globe, including yours. So, what do you think? Who truly holds the upper hand in 2025, and who will shape the decades to come? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and stay sharp. The world is changing, and fast.